Good morning. Today we are going to begin a new lesson, the third level. It is written by Jack Finney. Jack Finney was an American writer, mainly known for his contributions to the science fiction stories. His most popular novels are The Body Snatchers and Time and Again. Throughout his career, he published nearly 50 novels based on science fiction and thriller. This present story, the third level, is the most concise and entertaining story about time travel. Charlie, the protagonist, wishes to be transported to the third level, the world of 1894, which is supposed to be much happier and quieter place. The question about the existence of the third level is explained in the story. The story also dwells on the theme of escapism, not only as a psychological refuge from the grim realities of the present day world, but also as a desire to stay with the past or to keep the past alive in the complexities of the present. The third level was a way of escape for Charlie. His life in the modern world. It is full of insecurities, worries, and stress. It takes Charlie to a different world, which his friend also calls a walking dream or wish fulfillment. This is a story about Charlie's escapist tendency. Now let's begin with the story. Charlie, the protagonist, was a 31-year-old man. Several times he had lost himself in the Grand Central Station. He always found himself bumping into new doorways and new corridors. Every time he had a new experience. He even had begun to believe that the Grand Central was like a huge tree, ever pushing new tunnels and new corridors, like the roots under the ground. Once he got into a mile-long tunnel and came out in a lobby of a hotel. At another time, he came up into the building of an office. There were certainly 2 levels at the Grand Central, but Charlie asserted that there were 3 levels. He talked about it to his friends. One of them was a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist told that it was nothing but daydreaming. He explained that it was only an escape from the present life. The modern world was full of fear, tension, and worries. The third level provided him an exit from it. His other friends agreed with the psychiatrist. They said that his stamp collecting was also a temporary escape. Charlie was very fond of stamp collection. Charlie did not agree with them. He said that his grandfather started the stamp collection, and in his grandfather's days, life was peaceful. He did not need an escape. Besides, President Roosevelt also collected stamps. One day, Charlie got late from his office. He wanted to reach home soon, so he went to the Grand Central to catch a train. He walked down to the first level and then walked down another flight of stairs. He thought he had reached the second level again, but he got lost. He walked down a corridor. He thought it was wrong, but he walked downward. He walked down a short flight of stairs. He thought that he had reached the second level again, but actually he had reached the third level. The third level was entirely different and old-fashioned. There were few ticket windows. The information booth was made of wood. The lights were open flame gas lights. There were brass spittoons on the floor. Men had beards and sideburns. Women wore old-fashioned dresses and high-button shoes. The railway engine was small with a funnel-shaped stack. Everything looked a century old. He walked to the newsboy. There, he glanced at the world. The lead story was about President Cleveland. Later, Charlie found out from the library files that it was printed on June 11, 1894. Charlie wanted to go to Galesburg. He had been there in his childhood days. It was a wonderful town with tremendous trees and frame houses. In 1894, it was a heaven of peace and tranquility. People lived a carefree life there. So he went for taking tickets. He wanted to purchase 2 tickets to Galesburg. He paid the fare in modern notes, which were different from those in 1894. The clerk thought the notes were fake and Charlie was trying to cheat him. He threatened him to get him arrested. Charlie immediately turned around and fled as fast as he could. Next day, Charlie bought old-style notes from a coin dealer. He only got $200 from $300 new dollars. Everyone else denied that there was a third level, but Charlie would never ever agree with them. Charlie went for looking for the third level, but he could never again find the corridor that led to the third level. Charlie's wife was worried when she heard that he had bought old style notes. So Charlie turned to his stamp collection. One day, among his grandfather's collection of first day covers, he discovered an envelope. The postmark showed that it had been there since July 18, 1894. He opened the envelope, but the paper inside was not blank. Surprisingly, it was a letter from Sam, the psychiatrist's friend, whom Charlie had often told about Galesburg. He had already gone there. He requested Charlie to continue to look for the third level and join him in the Galesburg of 1894. He also said that it was a wonderful and lovely place. Later, Charlie learned that Sam had bought $800 worth of old currency. Charlie hoped Sam would have set up hay and feed business in Galesburg, and that was that he had always wished to do. Our present story wants to tell us a different kind of an ending. The story brings us to the conclusion that people find it hard to make peace with unpleasant things they come across in life. It brings out a common man's craving for peace and security. Like any common man, Charlie also appreciates the so-called pleasures of life. He wants to stay in the past because 1894 is much more peaceful, secure and serene. The world in 1894 hasn't seen the repercussions of war, the insecurities that come with war, terror and disease. Charlie feels that past is much better than the present, and that's why he wants an escape from the harsh realities of life. The character sketch of Charlie, the protagonist, is like he's a true representative of the modern man. He's a victim of stress and insecurity, and he wants to run away from reality. No doubt, he's an escapist and wants to escape from the world of harsh realities. He is an imaginative person, hence, on the wings of his imagination, he takes a flight to the non-existent world, that is, the third level, at Grand Central Station. But after finding it once, he and his wife fail to find it again. In short, Charlie is the true representative of the modern man who is torn between the pulls and pressures of a hectic modern life and wants to escape since he is not happy. Talking about his wife, Louisa, she is a loving and caring wife, and she is a simple lady. When Charlie talks to her about her predicament, about his predicament regarding the third level, she gets alarmed and advises him not to look for the third level anymore. Her husband's exchanging the new currency with the old one is a cause of concern for her, and she tells Charlie empathetically to look for other things rather than the third level. When Charlie tells her about Sam's disappearance, she joins him in looking for the third level every weekend. Talking about Sam, the psychiatrist. When Charlie shares his visiting the third level, he tells him it is a waking dream or wish fulfillment. But he gets fascinated by Charlie's description of Galesburg, which might be a wonderful town. He is also affected by the pulls and pressures of modern life that he thinks of escaping to the peaceful world of Galesburg of 1894. In the end, he discovers the third level of Grand Central and goes there. He writes a letter from there advising Charlie and Louisa to keep finding the third level because it is worth. According to Charlie, Sam must have set up his little hay, feed and grain business, and he can't go back to his old business as psychiatrists are redundant in Galesburg of 1894. Thank you. I hope you have understood the story.